Hey folks, this is Monk, and we are back with another episode of From the Canopy Film Show, and I'm joined as always with my co-host. We got Cornelius, aka Evil Corny.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on, man?
Not much.
And guess we're back with another batch of films to review for you folks, and we're going to start off with the film that I just checked out. This is a biopic based in World War II, and it's a film called Lee. This film is directed by Ellen Kuras. The only credits I could find for her was as cinematographer. She was cinematographer on Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. And in this story, it's the story of photographer Elizabeth Lee Miller, a fashion model who became an acclaimed war correspondent for Vogue magazine during World War II. And this film stars Kate Winslet, Andy Samberg, Alexander Skarsgård, and Andrea Riseborough. And for the most part, I rather enjoyed this film. It's kind of, tropey in the fact that it kind of follows the same beats as a lot of biopics, but I did find her story pretty interesting, and as well as the performances in this, particularly Kate Winslet. I haven't seen her in anything in a while. Last time I seen her, she was like a blue person in a James Cameron film,
Avatar.
So yeah, Avatar: Way of the Water. But in this film, she's really great in this, man. We kind of pick up with her, like she's kind of maybe I would say maybe early 40s. I'm not sure, the real life, age that she would have been in, when this event started happening, but she's kind of just, bumping around, drinking, hanging out with people. She's a model that's kind of in her retirement phase, and she's kind of bored with life. So she joins up, finally finds a purpose with World War II happening in the background, and joins as a war correspondent. Interestingly enough, I think she did try to join the British side first, and they was like, nah, we're not going to put women out there in this field. But she joined up with the Americans, and they were like, have at it, So interestingly enough, though, she gets in and starts moving around and seeing the horrors of war, and it kind of has an impact on her. One of the biggest events was, I think she was a prize-winning photographer and actually getting some of these photos published for Vogue. And when the story comes out, she realizes her photos aren't in this, and there's a big thing because it's like, I risked my ass for this. This stuff kind of has a big meaning to me. She's seeing things that the public wasn't privy to, especially the horrors of the war, what it's doing to the people that are participating in it, the soldiers, the victims. There's concentration camp, photos that she took. And so eventually, we found out that I think those end up getting published in the American version of Vogue, so they still got seen, but I think it probably would have had more impact if her home country had, recognized her efforts. But it's a cool story. There's a lot of stuff that's getting touched on in this film, especially some of the relationships. I was really surprised by Andy Samberg's character in this, man. I thought he did a really great job because he's kind of paired up with her, during legs of this journey, and it's kind of cool just seeing him do something dramatic. I mean, I always had this feeling that a lot of these guys that are known for comedy can cross over and do great dramatic work as well, and he's really solid in this film, so it's definitely, I don't know how it's gonna hold up in the long run. It's not something that I probably would rush out and revisit again. I think it is well done, and mostly because of the performances. As far as everything else, like I said, it's kind of basic, by the book biopic fare. But there may be some recognition for some of the performances coming out of this, especially hers. And I think it's definitely worth a watch, just for that alone. She's great in this, like really good, Well, the next one I got on here is going to be The Piano Lesson. And this is a Netflix film. It's available now if you want to check it out. It is adapted from the play, I believe, by August Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
And this film was directed by Malcolm Washington. The only directorial credit I could find for him was a film called Benny Got Shot. So I think this is kind of his first stab at things. In this film, the Charles family grapples with family legacy and difficult decisions as they determine the fate of their heirloom piano, exploring deeper themes along the way. And this cast is really stacked. It's got John David Washington, Danielle Deadweiler, Ray Fisher, Sam L. Jackson, Erykah Badu, Corey Hawkins, Danielle Brooks, and Michael Potts also appear in this film, man. What did you think about this, Cornelius? Because
I really enjoyed this film. Years ago, I kind of remember there was a version of this play that Charles Dutton
Charles Dutton
part of back in the day, and it might have been Viola Davis. I might be wrong, but or either her or Alfred Woodard were probably in that back in the day. But I was really impressed by this. Like you said, this is directed by Malcolm Washington. This is one of Denzel Washington's son that actually directed it. And then
wow, so he's got a son starring in it and a son directing it. That's crazy.
And I think he produced it, and I think one of his daughters might have was a producer in it also. I really was impressed by this. It was real good acting. John David Washington at some point might be as great as an actor as his father. He pretty much sounds like his father in parts of this. It's a lot of deep stuff that happened in this. His sister doesn't want to sell it because that is like family, pretty much legacy of the family or whatever. And I really thought it was a real well, acted out story and everything. And hopefully we get some more of August Wilson's plays. A couple years ago, Denzel Washington himself directed Fences. That was off of August Wilson play. And Ma Rainey's Black Bottom was also one of those plays. I think Washington has been producing these, and I guess he might have a deal with Netflix right now about putting some of those out. Fences was might have been a Paramount film that was actually in theatrical, but the other two have been Netflix type films. So I'm kind of want to see where all this goes.
It's interesting as well because Denzel started in theater, so it's kind of cool that he's kind of leaned into adapting these theater productions, things that originated as theater productions. So that's cool.
Him and Samuel Jackson. I think they know each other from theater, and I think Samuel Jackson might have played a different part in this play at one point. But there's some real good acting in it. I hope it gets some credit during award season this year, because I thought it was real good. And Malcolm Wilson, this pretty much to me is just in their blood. Their acting family, that's their trade. Pretty much Washington's.
Next one I got is going to be Gladiator 2. And this is a big time action adventure film. Folks have been waiting on this since it got announced. Directed by Ridley Scott of Gladiator fame, Blade Runner, Aliens, a lot of groundbreaking films over the years. And in this film, years after witnessing the death of Maximus at the hands of his uncle, Lucius must enter the Colosseum after the powerful emperors of Rome conquer his home. With rage in his heart and the future of the empire at stake, he looks to the past to find the strength and honor needed to return the glory of Rome to its people. And this cast is pretty stacked. We've got Paul Mescal, we've got Denzel Washington, Pedro Pascal, Joseph Quinn, Connie Nielsen, Fred Heckinger, and Peter Mensah. Those are our main folks in here. And this was wild. I was waiting for this, highly anticipating it. I will say this. I think this is a film where everything is kind of turned up a notch. We've got bigger set pieces. We've got bigger gladiator fights. We've got bigger battles. The stakes are a bit bigger, even though they're kind of similar to the original film. And we've also got Denzel in here, man. So that's a really big get for this film. And it's kind of crazy that he's in this film because, how can I explain this? This is a film, I enjoyed it in the moment, but I don't think it's as good as the original film.
I agree with you.
I think Denzel is so good, though. He's carrying me through a lot of the things that don't work in this film for me, that didn't work in this film for me. I feel like, as I mentioned before, everything else is scaled up so big. I feel like they forgot to scale the story up to match the effort as well,
Yeah, I agree with you. Really enjoyed the film. It is a popcorn film. Nothing, that much historical accuracy in this, because I don't think they ever had sharks like in the arena. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at the Coliseum.
I don't think there was that
advanced. Water from, for a shark in there. I hope that wasn't freshwater. The shark wouldn't last that long, but it was a good film. Denzel was Denzel in it. He's a little bit more training day in this than than you would think that somebody from back then would. would be, you know.
But we don't really have a record, so I thought it was fun to see him having fun because some of the mannerisms he was doing, I was like, would a Roman laugh like that? Would they be kind of carrying on? But who knows? And I thought it was fun that he leaned into that. Like you could tell he's definitely having fun in that role, man. That's one of the things that comes across in that portrayal for me.
Yeah, he had his robes on and was flexing. That's what I want to say about it. One of the things about it, I liked him in this film, but overall, I don't really think it's like the best of these films. I really like the original a little bit more. Really, way more. I like the original. I think we had a better story we was working with with the original, but I think Denzel Washington pretty much makes this movie. You know, it kind of drags, and you know, and all that. It's just him being him in this film that kind of does it for me. And by the way, and part of this, when he meets the guy that's the main character in this, I can't think of
I know what you're talking about, but
Lucius, when he meets Lucius, when he meets him, you know, he has him. You know, he has him in the school and everything. And Denzel Washington uses a phrase, you know, to get the guy clean, holds him down. And I'm saying to myself, they didn't have hoses back then.
I
just wonder how many.
I'm probably the first one to bring that up, but now that I think about it, yeah.
I wonder who else in the theater, or whoever else has seen this and just think about that. They had water hoses back then, you know.
No. Maybe there was. I don't know, man.
That aqueduct, and that was almost like a but they weren't worried to the hoses.
History of hoses.
Yeah,
we find out they go back to the Roman Empire. So for me, I just feel like a lot of the story was just half baked. I felt like at times, like I'm rewatching Gladiator being retold. Like so many of Lucius, so many beats of his journey are exactly out of Gladiator, you know, in a way. So that's kind of what was dragging it down for me. It was like I'm kind of groaning and like I'm looking at this. All right, for me, the main thing is I don't think it taps into the emotional fabric that Gladiator, the original Gladiator did. Like I'm watching stuff happening, but it's like I'm not really caring about a lot of it. You know, even when heavy impactful moments happen with some of these characters, I'm like, all right, I've seen that coming. Get them out of here. Like, all right, what's next? You know, and this thing is, this film is almost as long. It might be slightly longer than the original, but they're about similar. But this one, it feels like a slog at times, bro. It slows down tremendously.
I do agree with that. One of the things about like the original Gladiator, Maximus had been wronged.
Yeah, and very wrong.
Every bit about that. It was a revenge. That was like one of the greatest revenge dramatics that I can think of right now. Because you know, everything that happened with him, everything he was gonna do to that emperor, you know, the emperor had it coming to him. You know, that Caesar had it coming to him.
So the part that get me,
he ruined that guy's life. Yeah,
it was Lucius' side. All right, his emotional. I thought it was so weak. I was like, dude, like
he just didn't go
going to war. People die in war. You know what I'm saying? I didn't. When that happened to him, I'm just like, okay, this is supposed to be his big betrayal, but you know, there's other stuff that happens along, you know, that comes out, especially when we get exposed with you know, I'm not gonna spoil it, but I just thought all of that stuff was flimsy, man, you know. So really, I'm just here, and the biggest thing that I got from this movie was just watching Denzel. If you give me a super cut, I could watch that over and over of just his scenes. But the rest of this, I don't know, man. It's gonna be really hard to pull me back in. I don't think I'm adding this one to the collection. Like I didn't hate my time with it. I think I give it a 3 out of 5 on my letterbox, you know. So which is fair, is good, but this definitely, how this film came out, it feels like the cash grab. You know, it's like
it was.
Honestly, Maximus's story was folded up nice and neat, and boom. It's just, and honestly, if we're really talking about Gladiator, I don't think Gladiator was best picture material. To be honest, it's a good film. The first Gladiator, I don't think it's a great film, excellently directed. But if you look at but it's a simple. It's like it's a revenge story. You know, this would have been Conan back in the day, dude. Like this is a similar kind of tale, but Ridley Scott elevated it by having this
he elevated
amazing
sword
cast.
and sandal.
Yeah. He took so like
it has been that big since Spartacus, pretty much.
I was telling Bob when we did our we talked about the Gladiator recently. I was like, man, there's a thin line between Gladiator and Scorpion King. Very thin line. There's a thin line, and so Ridley Scott, you know, he benefited like what he was able to achieve and put in there with the poetry he added to that. That's what's lacking, man. I think that's why this film it's doing great, by the way, but I don't think outside of Denzel's performance, there's not going to be much of this that sticks with people a year from now. You know, it's so somehow he didn't manage to tap into that. Interestingly enough, there's a wild interview that I saw a clip of from his cinematographer. It was a guy that he worked with a while ago, and he's saying, and at first I thought this was some clickbait kind of stuff. But it was his real cinematographer. I can't remember the exact films, but he's saying Ridley Scott lately, and I had to look it up. I had to hear it out of his mouth itself, not just, you know, because a lot of these sites now, they're throwing clickbait and stuff, making up shit. So, and he said, the problem with Ridley Scott, he's rushing lately. And I was like, I kind of feel that in his films. And he's saying is, you know, he used to do more deliberate setups with the cameras. Now he's doing multiple cameras and just hoping that he gets enough angles for the coverage instead of being more deliberate about that. And he's saying that he thinks that's, you know, why some of his films recently haven't been having the impact that he had in his previous years. And man, Ridley's up there, bro. We was talking about Clint Eastwood last week with The Juror, but Ridley is up there, bro.
I know,
and they've got all these other films on deck. How old is he? Right, 87 years old. They're talking about another Gladiator 3 coming out, like I think he's got 3 or 4 films that he announced recently, and I'm like, is he going to get those out?
I really can't agree. I really don't want to agree with Quentin Tarantino and him just stopping, you know, at 10 films, because I think we could get more out of Tarantino, but some directors, like he was saying, some of their later work can kind of sour them. I think his good cutoff, I think Ridley Scott's cutoff should have been American Gangster. That might be the best of his.
He would have went out.
Last couple films
went out really good.
Yeah, he would have went out, you know, an high note on that one.
Yeah, I'm trying
I did like The Last Duel, but I don't think it made money. But like House of Gucci, that was
I did like The Last Duel. That's probably is going to be his last of the recent, you know. And the thing too that's happening now, we're getting stuff like Napoleon, which could have been great, but I haven't watched the extended cut yet. But apparently that's supposed to be, you know, kind of clean that film up a little bit. But yeah, man, maybe The Martian, you know, I'll throw Last Duel in there.
Good, but that was after that was before was that before American Gangster?
No, that was after. American Gangster was like 2007.
The Martian was a good. I'll take that back there. The Martian might be his last real good film, and then behind that you probably have The Last Duel. But after that, it's been a decline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did like Prometheus a lot though.
I did. Yeah. I like Prometheus also, but.
Yeah,
it's been. It's been slacking, and then he did that Alien Covenant, which
I can't watch that, bro. I can't watch that again, man.
Yeah, I have so many mixed feelings about that, you know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see, man. We'll see if he can get another one out. I hope he drops another banger on us, but we'll see. So the last one we're going to talk about today is going to be the film Wicked, and this is a fantasy film. It's an adaptation of the Broadway hit play directed by John M. Chu of Crazy Rich Asians and In the Heights fame. So in this film, misunderstood because of her green skin, a young woman named Elphaba forges an unlikely but profound friendship with Glinda, a student with an unflinching desire for popularity. Following an encounter with the Wizard of Oz, their relationship soon reaches a crossroad as their lives begin to take very different paths. This film stars Ariana Grande, Cynthia Erivo, Jonathan Bailey, Ethan Slater, Michelle Yeoh, Jeff Goldblum, and Peter Dinklage. And what'd you think about this, Cornelius?
Really enjoyed the film. I'm not familiar with the Broadway show, but I have watched the Wizard of Oz and kind of somewhat know some of those books. When I guess they had a graphic novel going for a while, Marvel did. I like what I saw, and I think Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande did a real good job on this film. Ariana Grande is a better actress than I thought she was, because other than her singing, I don't think I've seen anything that she's been in other than like Nickelodeon stuff, back in the day. But her character's funny. I had a lot of fun with it. Wizard of Oz is like, I guess that's like one of the first American like type fantasy type films. That came from somebody in this side of the world.
Big budget too, man. Big budget too, man. It was crazy.
But I really just had a lot of fun with it. I kind of wish we would see more of that, Wizard of Oz type, world or whatever. But overall, I like what I saw on it. I really liked it. I can see what all the hype was about.
Yeah, this thing's big too, man. It made a rack of money, man. Like it's crazy what's going on out there. I'm pretty sure they might get to the billion. So what's interesting about this film is just the whole production value. Everything is dope, man. Like I really do like the story, man. Watching it unfold with these characters. You kind of got this misfit character, but then you got also this really highly ambitious character, and they're button heads at first, and then they kind of team up. And then things kind of go south as this thing progresses, and this is only part one, man. So as successful as this film is, they come back for a part two if they can get that out within the next year, which I'm pretty sure they might be, because some of the stuff I feel like they might have been filming these both at the same time or something like that. One of those type of things is going on, because they kind of do. I feel like there's a glimpse of future stuff that's going to happen in this world, but I thought it was really dope, man. Oz hasn't looked better ever, in my opinion, man. There's some really cool stuff in it, and even stuff that I don't think was touched on with the original Oz films, at least the ones that I've seen, man. Like especially the relationship with the humans and the animals. And I thought that stuff was cool.
Really Alphaba's story. I kind of just thought it was like she was kind of outsider. There was a little bit of. You kind of pick up a little bit of prejudice or whatever against her, just being her.
Where the winners get to tell the story, and you see what really happened, and you're like, whoa, and like pretty much the Wicked Witch of the West, and the way to turn around and make her sympathetic, but like I really enjoyed that first. I enjoyed this whole film, man, but that first opening, her story and her getting into the school and her and Glinda. Coming together, all that stuff is really fun. It's a musical, so you have to have the musical moments. If you got two of the best singers out there, and Revo's been singing in films for years now, man. Killing it. Whenever they give her a chance, I remember what was that? The El Royale. Her character was a singer, and they give her.
That was her in that film.
Yeah.
Oh, then, I knew she was in Color Purple, but I didn't think. Oh, okay.
And then to pair her up with Ariana Grande, who's other excellent singer, and there was some fun, musical numbers and stuff that helped pull this together, man. I really had a great time watching this. I almost went back, man, you know what I'm saying? But time wasn't permitting. They closed my theater down the street. They closed that down. so yeah, man, it was kind of rough out there, man. But I would definitely highly recommend folks check out Wicked, man. It's definitely a really good time, at the movies.
I had a lot of fun with it. It kind of caught me off guard, but I thought it was a little bit more hype, going into it than until I actually sat down and saw it. So
So my next one is going to be Moana 2. And I just saw this one. This is the last film I've seen at my theater that's down the street that's closing down. It was directed by Dana LaDoux Miller, Jason Han, David Derrick Jr. And in this film, Moana journeys to the far seas of Oceania after receiving an unexpected call from her wayfinding ancestors. This film stars The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. We've also got Nicole Scherzinger, Alan Tudyk, Rose Matafio, and coming back as Moana, we got Louis Cravalho, and we also got Tamira Morris in this film as well. He plays one of the elders in this character, and Rachel House.
Oh, Boba Fett? Or
yeah, Boba Fett's in it. He has a fun role in this, man. His character is pretty cool. But for the most part, I'm gonna get this out the way. This is not as good as Moana 2, but I had a good time watching this movie. And I think, some of the impact dies down because, this is the second time we're seeing this. So some of that razzle dazzle is lost, but I think this thing is still good. The music is good. That's one of the complaints. It's not as good as the previous one. I don't think Lin-Manuel Miranda worked on this one, but it's still good. It's going to pass the time. The thing that really holds up, I think, is the animation in general, man. Like, that stuff is, man, they kicking ass in this film, man. This thing still looks as good, and it's still giving us those visuals that we got from the first time. The story, I don't think it has those emotional highs that the original has. We don't have the grandma dying, nothing crazy like that. But it is something though that kind of going on that kind of makes this world much bigger for these characters that are living in. It's kind of repeating some of the steps. Moana has to go out into the larger world on this mission to deal with this issue that's going on, but I had a good time, dude. This thing was packed, bro. I think this film did like 212 million domestically, which is crazy, dude. Like that is wild, man. That is wild to me. So, and I think this past Thanksgiving weekend was the biggest. I think it was the biggest box office weekend of the year. I think they had a combined $400 million with Moana 2, Wicked, and Gladiator 2, and the rest of the films combined to bring the domestic box office, I believe, over I'm not sure if it's domestic or worldwide, but $400 some million, bro. Like, that's crazy. I think that might have been a domestic number. So people talking about the movies are dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
It's just what's out there, man. If things are out there, I right now I kind of hate that they didn't move one of the Marvel films for Christmas of this year, because the next couple of weeks it's going to be kind of dead, I think, because all we have to look forward to now is like Nosferatu on Christmas Day, unless it's something bigger.
Yeah, this is crazy, man. So yeah, 414 million, 5-day Thanksgiving at the box office. So I think it helped too that a lot of people had that Friday off, so it's like, hey, you're going to the movies, But yeah,
sure, last Monday when I saw Gladiator, it was packed. My normal theater on a Monday, even before a holiday, I never had to park on the lower part of this parking deck that this theater is sitting at. That was like in a corner. I had to actually do a trek to see Gladiator. And that's one of the main reasons why I love assigned seating now in theaters. I had my seat, I had my food, already prepaid. I just had to use the restroom and sit down, and everything's waiting on me. But back in the day, I would have never been able to go and see that film.
Yeah, man. So yeah, this is good, man. That's a good sign. But I did look at the overall numbers. We're still down significantly since COVID, but this has been a solid year. I don't know if this year, at least for quality wise, I don't know, dude. There is some good stuff out here, but this year also kind of feels skimpy, man. Because I'm just
coming off of that writer and actor strikes.
I've been looking at what I've seen and how many of those films I would actually buy and watch again, it's not a whole lot of them, dude. Even though I did see a lot of stuff and I enjoyed a lot of things, but you know, that kind of, you know, look at it like that. I feel like this year has been a really skippy year for me, you know, adding stuff to the collection. You know,
yeah. And most of my favorite films this year have been animated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, at least 4 of my favorites.
Yeah, I think the animated films might could take a good 4, maybe 5 slots in the top.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they have. Yeah.
You know. So yeah. But we got some things on the way. It's kind of, I feel like they're starting late too, man. I haven't seen really any super big Oscar bait popping up. I think Nosferatu might be the next big thing that I step out for. We got that on the way. There's a couple things in December, you know, this month I want to check out to a couple other things, but you know, we'll talk about those when we get to them. But I think now we're going to be out of here. It's been another episode from the Canopy Film Show. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and be back soon. You can catch me at Monkey Blood on Twitter and Instagram.
I'm Cornelius Bros. You can find me on Facebook, Cornelius Bros, on Instagram, Cornelius Bros, on Blue Sky, Cornelius Bros, and on TikTok at Cornelius1976. I just watch videos on there, so whatever.
All right, folks, we're out of here. Peace.